Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Political Theater, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me this evening on Tuesday. We are back here. We've got another show for you this evening. Lots to talk about today. It has been an interesting day watching the Nancy Guthrie case. Looks like it is finally about to break open. It's been pretty much the only real big news story that everyone's been talking about all day today. I'm not really sure what anybody else has been talking about, to be honest with you. I mean, it's pretty much the only thing people have been focused on. They released some new footage out of that and some new images that we'll talk about. We're also going to go over a couple other things. There's a little bit of geopolitical stuff. It looks like Netanyahu is in D.C. It looks like he had a very interesting entrance to D.C. We'll talk about that as well. And obviously, the continuation of the Epstein stuff continues to trug right along. There's more and more information about that. And also, we can talk a little bit about what's going on in Virginia. It looks like the redistricting stuff that's going up is they are trying to push that forward, but we'll see what happens with that. But the number one thing we're going to talk about for the majority of this show is probably going to be the Nancy Guthrie case, because it looks like we actually might see something real and breaking about this now. Before we do any of that, though, guys, make sure you guys share this link out wherever you guys may be listening to the show. If you guys are listening to us on X Spaces, if you're listening to us on YouTube, Rumble, make sure you guys subscribe to us there. If you guys listen to us on Spotify or Apple, make sure you guys leave us a review there. I appreciate everyone who does that. And if you want to support the show, go to WCDispatch.com, and you can always subscribe to me here right here on X. That is another way you can support the show. So we're going to get right into it. So obviously the big story that came out this morning is that there was new images that were released from the Nancy Guthrie case. And this was probably the most interesting thing that happened because it's been a week. I mean, everyone remembers that essentially it's been a full week of this, and there's been zero update, essentially. They haven't caught the guy. They haven't named any suspects. There's been a bunch of back and forth whether or not the sister and the sister's husband was involved in this. It's been a very interesting story, and everyone's been paying attention to it. But more than that, you don't see stuff like this very often, and I think that's why everyone's paying a lot of attention to it. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. But right now, as we're speaking, there is reports of FBI's hostage negotiation teams are out there. There's SWAT teams that were rolled out. And apparently there's even information that some of the Bitcoin was moved into the wallet that was talked about for the ransom case on that. So this is looking like we're about to see some sort of resolution to it, whatever that may be. I'm not sure if we're going to have a happy ending here. I was talking about it yesterday. I didn't think we would see some sort of happy ending to this story. But this is, right now, as we're speaking, this is the current, it's about to happen, whatever it is. In fact, it's felt like this pretty much all day, that there's going to be some sort of break in the case today that's been constantly talked about. I did a little bit of analysis on the height of the guy from the image in the video. I took an image out of it, and I used the bricks next to it to determine what I thought his height was, which is about 5'10", 5'11", which isn't really that useful, to be honest, because that's a huge percentage of what most men in this country are anyway. But there's a bunch of other analysis that people did into it, and we'll see if we actually see some sort of break in the case. If we're gonna hear it, my guess is we'll probably hear it live on the show this evening. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna watch that, and we're gonna be carefully monitoring that as we get through the show this evening. I got some people that are come up here on stage. You guys are welcome to come up here and join. Other than that, there has not been a whole lot of really, really new news that has come out today. I saw that Candace Owens has decided to reappear. And I don't know, she's one of these people that, she comes back every full moon or something. She just decides to accuse somebody else. She comes back and decides to accuse Erica Kirk of, now Erica Kirk needs to be arrested. I don't pay any attention to this woman at all. But it's just obnoxious hearing her just return to the scene specifically so that she can say that, now Erica Kirk needs to be arrested, and everybody that's not questioned Erica Kirk by the police should be arrested, even though she wasn't even in the same state. I don't care about Candace at all, though. I mean, that woman is... I had forgotten she existed up until she decided to accuse Erica. I mean, what was the original thing she said she was going to say? Okay, so Erica Kirk, if Erica tells me to stop, I'll stop. Well, now it's Erica Kirk needs to be arrested, then I'll stop. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, it's just obnoxious to listen to be honest with you. So I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to her. It's pretty pathetic if you ask me. But
just please bring back the asylums.
What's up, Vince?
Can we refer to Candace Owen as Montezuma's revenge?
That's pretty good. I like that, actually. That's pretty funny. Well, I mean, listen, to be honest with you, I'm not going to talk about it all. I'm not going to focus on Candace at all. I just figured it was worth mentioning that she exists again, and she's decided to return and inform us that she wants to be relevant by accusing somebody that is more important than her that they need to be arrested. So that's what's happened today, essentially, from the world of Candace. So we can continue from Candace, though, but I'm much more interested to see what happens right now. It looks like the FBI has been all over this Nancy Guthrie case. They are on the ground. They're doing, there's actual door-to-door knocking right now that's going on in the neighborhood. It's, to me, I don't know what the original local PD was doing in this case, but it appears to me that they were not doing a very good job. I think that would be the best way to describe it. They must not have been very competent people. In this kind of case, with this high profile of thing, I looked up to the stats for the Prima County, like how large that department is. It's still a pretty large department. It's got a couple hundred officers. I mean, it's, you assume it's probably got 20 or 30 detectives that are part of that are pretty senior. How they botched this so bad at the beginning, I'm not sure. But now that the FBI is involved, they released this new information from the Nest. Looks like they had Nest footage or whatever it is outside of their doors. It's very funny to listen to. There's a bunch of people that are out here like, oh my God, we learned today that the FBI can access the cameras outside of your house. Like, you just figured this out? Like, I mean, where have you been? I mean, what did you think would happen when you connected your camera to an internet cloud service? I mean, I guarantee you in their terms of service, it says law enforcement can use this if they request. I mean, I would not even be sort of shocked by that. But of course, everyone's, oh my God, we figured out that they've got access to it. Like, oh, you idiots. I mean, just please, if you think that the FBI can't access your Alexa in your house that you talk to on a regular basis, you haven't been paying very much attention, people. I mean, that's just been well known for a very long time at this point. But it looks like the images that they got were pretty good. I mean, you've got a guy that was in a mask. He's carrying, by the way, the guy carrying this gun, I don't know about you guys. I mean, I don't know how familiar you all are with firearms, but I'm pretty familiar with firearms. I have never in my life seen a guy carry a firearm like this. Not once. Not even remotely, not a single time have I, and I'll pull up an image of it just so people can see what I'm talking about. I have never seen someone carry a gun like this, guys. It does not happen. This is not normal. This is not how you carry a gun. It looks to me like the person bought the gun that day. I mean, that's the only way I would describe it, to be honest with you, is that they purchased the firearm that hour or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just it does not look like anything that I would have ever, no one I know has ever carried a gun like that. And I've seen lots of people that carry all kinds of different firearms. Nobody wears a gun that is strapped to the front of their waist, pointed at their groin. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Now, the other part of that is that the gun itself, I did a little bit of looking into what the gun could have been. Here, let me put this image up on the screen so people can see what I'm talking about, because it is pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you. Just the absurdity of it it's worth looking at so you guys can see it here. Oh, wait a minute here. Switch it back to that. There we go. Anyway, I'll pull this up on the screen. Go ahead, Angel. You have your hand up. And Jordan, what's happening, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing just fine.
So I think our disappointment from the Guthrie case is akin to the Butler, Pennsylvania issue, and akin to the Brown shooting, and akin to the scientist shooting. And like, I don't know why the FBI and in general the police, maybe the whole defunding thing, has been a giant disappointment in the past year or so or more. But these things are they're kind of repeating themselves, and it's getting weird.
Well, I mean, we have seen quite a bit of incompetence from law enforcement for the past year. Mostly that is due to the people that are in charge of those groups. But in this case specifically, I don't know if you could really say that it's whoever's in charge. I think you just have a scenario where you're in a suburb that doesn't see this kind of stuff, and instead of immediately calling in experts to deal with it, or bringing in Tucson PD or city police officers that are used to dealing with high profile cases, I mean, you've got, from what I understand, there's some of the investigators that were on this case weren't even investigators for very long. By the way, I put this image up. You can see here, this is what I would call the no balls carry. I mean, you intend to blow your nuts off with this. I don't know what we're doing here. This is the most absurd way to carry a firearm I have ever seen. I mean, I don't know what if you guys have never seen anything like that. I've never seen a single person carry a gun like that. To me, it looks like a semi-automatic gun that is like a pistol, probably a full-size semi-automatic pistol, 9mm, that is in a soft revolver holster. That's kind of what it looks like to me. But it's strapped to the front of his waist, pointed directly down at his groin. I don't know what that is. Okay, I don't know how to read that other than it looks to me like whoever this is has never carried a firearm before. Not in their entire lives. It's either that or it's some sort of, the guy that is, he always uses this. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. So there's a couple people saying it's a semi-auto and a revolver case. Yeah, that's what I think it is. It looks like one of those sticky holsters. It's something that you would wear on the inside of your thigh, but wearing it on the exterior of your pants is weird, just to say the very least. I've never seen anybody wear a gun like this. So this was one of the first images, and I'll put up a couple of the other things here that I was pointing out. This is the height analysis that I was going on. So originally, when I was looking at the height analysis on this, and I'll make this a little bit bigger so people can see it here, this was the reason I was looking at this is because the bricks in the archway itself are actually kind of useful. You can use them as a guide. So I went off of basic, whatever standard brick measurements are in the United States, like 2 5/8 or something like that. But someone pointed out to me in the comment sections that this is a really common pattern of brick that's called burnt adorb or something like adorb or something. It's very common in Tucson. So I redid the analysis with the better photo, and it actually ends up to be just about the same anyways. The guy's about 5'7", 5'10", something like that. But just what we were going to see as a result of this, I don't know. I mean, this doesn't give you a whole lot to go on. He's completely covered up. There was a couple people that were trying to point out that maybe it was a woman. I don't think so, guys. This does not look like a woman, doesn't walk like a woman. His shoulders are broad. The only reason it was kind of interesting was the zoomed in image of the face looked like they might have been waxed eyebrows, but I'm not sure if that's actually what we were looking at. I think that might have just been the mask itself kind of cutting off the top of it. I will say that none of these images really point to any of the people that we've thought possibly was before. There was some people posting some images of the guy that a band member or something of the Annie's husband or something like that. But this guy looks way too broad chested to be that person. So I don't think that's the case. If this is a kidnapping, though, this guy, by the way, the backpack he was wearing, he wore it and it was completely loaded when he gets here. So if it was a kidnapping, that looks like he had a full kit with him, which is, I don't know. I mean, this is a pretty interesting case. Just the fact that they were just now getting some sort of movement on it after a week or so. But we'll see. I think while we're on the show, we'll probably have updates on it. Go ahead, Angel. You got your hand up, and we can go around the room.
Sorry, regarding the gun thing, the only reason I can imagine you would put a gun there is if it was a fake gun. Like if you're trying to be like, hey, get in the car, I have a gun and I will shoot you, and then you point down at your crotch or something. Because I can't imagine how that could be comfortable, especially, I mean, if you're loaded or anything, that is dangerous as hell. It
Well,
doesn't make sense, right?
danger wouldn't be the way I'd put it, but just anybody who uses a firearm knows that this is not an ideal way to carry or like remove a firearm. I mean, that's the part. Like, if you have a firearm and you intend to use it, you've used one before, you would not carry a gun like this. That's what my point is. This is something that no one that has ever used a gun before is going to carry their gun like this. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. That's the problem with it. I mean, just the way that it's you can see in the video here, and I'll put the video up here. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, just it doesn't make any sense to me. I've never seen a guy wear a gun like this. No one I've ever known has ever worn a gun like that, but maybe I'm wrong. Someone could try and point this out to me, but it looks to me like a sticky thigh holster that he's got on the exterior of his pants, kind of strapped weird. I have never seen someone wear a gun like that, so very strange. Jared, how are you? I'm assuming you've been following this case all day, just like I have, and everybody else has. So how are you? What's happening, man?
Yeah, we've been in the group chat exchanging messages about this the last few hours. So some breaking news right now. According to ABC News, the Pima County Sheriff's Office, with coordination with the FBI, has just detained an individual for questioning. They're calling it a person of interest. So I'll just read it here. The Pima County Sheriff's Department, with assistance from the FBI, has detained an individual for questioning in connection with the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. This just broke a few moments ago. I'm seeing on my TV right now, Jake Tapper on CNN is also reporting that. I have to say, in the last hour, I something told me that there was going to be a break in this case. Um, for one, you had FBI negotiators leaving the Tucson FBI office and heading to somewhere in the neighborhood where the media isn't, they can't really follow them. Number two, we saw that the Pima County Sheriff's Office, there was 2 trucks, 2 SWAT team vehicles filled with shields, filled with bear spray and a whole bunch of other tactical gear. That happened an hour ago. Obviously, the FBI negotiators, and then number three, we've seen them, knocking door to door to door to door. And then obviously, the TMZ journalist Harvey Wine was just on with Aaron Burnett last hour and saying that, and was saying that there was activity going in the Bitcoin account. Now that could be fake, right? Because $300 being deposited there, that could be fake.
Well, I
But
mean, it wouldn't
they
be
have detained.
even if
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be fake. I mean, from what I would have gathered from that, if they managed to dust the wallet, is that maybe the FBI has a way to trace the wallet now, and maybe that's why they did it. I don't think it would be necessarily a fake scenario in that way. I think that might have been something else that we just don't understand yet. But that would came out of TMZ, and they would have had access to the wallet because they were the ones that got the ransom in the first place. So they would have seen what, if that wallet's got anything that gets deposited into it, they would be able to see that. But I don't know how much that's going to really be relevant. Right now, there is two sides. I mean, FBI's hostage response team is there, which I think is actually kind of interesting. If it's hostage response being there, that would be good news. Maybe they actually intend to get find her alive or something. Maybe that's good news actually. But it sounds, you said that a person of interest has been detained. I haven't seen that yet, so let's take a look and see if I can find that.
yeah,
Who
that's been
reported that?
confirmed. Yeah, that's been confirmed by virtually every news outlet so far. I will say though, and I'm not a federal law enforcement agent or anything. Let's say, for knock on wood, obviously we all hope Nancy Guthrie is alive, but let's say she is not alive. It's still useful to obviously have FBI agents negotiating with this possible suspect because he could be a threat to law enforcement, a threat to the community. He could be trying to take other hostages um, as something is happening. So it looks like there hasn't been like I'm sure you have the media probably getting in their cars right now, rushing to whatever address this suspect has been detained at, or let's just call him person of interest because that's what they're calling him. But I hope they give us a press conference tonight. I hope this is a happy ending and Nancy Guthrie is somehow alive tonight. But like I said, the person of interest, something told me when like you see two like sometimes I think the law enforcement does things to just bother the media, but when you see two uh tanks, or I'm sorry, I'm not getting the word right, two
The armored vehicles. I saw
SWAT
them. Yeah.
team
Yeah.
armored vehicles,
Yeah.
you know something's up, Walter, right?
Well, I
You
mean,
know
they even,
something's
but
up
there
there.
was the Fox News Digital reported that there was specifically that they were associating that with the Nancy Guthrie case. So it is sounding like
Correct.
there's something happening right now. Whether or not we're going to see some major break in this, I don't know yet. But we'll have to keep watching. I mean, it right now, I think, like you said, I agree with you that it right now seems like where we were going to see some sort of breaking, and this evening we were going to see a major update in it. So as we're gonna keep monitoring this as this continues on here. But in terms of what's happened so far, it looks like the release of the images this morning and then it led to a chopper being launched recently and two SWAT teams heading out, and the special force or the FBI special response for hostage negotiation is out there. So we may actually see some major update here this evening. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. But it has obviously been the number one story throughout the entire day today. So we'll keep an eye on it as we're going through the show this evening. I've got a couple new people up here on the stage who had their hands up. Vince, go ahead and chime in whatever you want.
Hey, Bitcoin is not untraceable. It takes time for them to trace that back. They will trace that back. And now it's taken a couple of days for them to trace it back. And they released a photograph of this dude, right, who has never handled a firearm before. That was evident from how they were carrying it and everything else. And unfortunately, I give it 80-20% that Nancy's still alive. And yeah, no, no, this isn't gonna be a happy ending. and there's gonna be suicide by cop, I would say, whoever was responsible for this. And if they're rolling this response to that, yeah, so they know who it is. They've traced it down. The internet is forever. It's not gonna go away. They're gonna find you.
Well, and
Everyone.
that's the Bitcoin part of it. Obviously, Bitcoin is traceable. There's not like there is ways to mask some of that, and that's what they were talking about at the intro, like at the beginning of this week. They were talking about how this guy must have been reasonably smart to be able to mask what was going on with the Bitcoin in it, which is reasonably interesting. But at the end of the day, if they have enough resources behind it, I'm sure they'll be able to actually trace that down, which I think is going to happen this evening. So we'll actually see what the next updates are. But until we see the next, I assume, like we said at the beginning of this, I think that we're going to see a major update reasonably soon. So we'll keep an eye on it. Jacktron, go ahead.
All right, so yeah, so there was a couple of other big stories today. So it seems that Howard Lutnick is in some deep water right now. According to the Democrats, they're now going to try to arrest him for perjury once they get power back.
The Democrats have said they're going to arrest everybody. I mean, they that's not really. I wouldn't say that that's some sort of new revelation. I think the Democrats intend to arrest every single person that exists. Anybody that's associated with the Trump administration, they're going to try and arrest them if they get power back, and they've not really been quiet about that. So I think that the entire Trump administration. The funny thing is that the Biden administration set the precedent for this, so he can just pardon everybody. So and I don't if that's going to hold, and they're not going to be able to do anything about that, then the Trump administration will just pardon the entire administration when they leave, and that'll be the end of it. Which I warned about when the pardons came through in the first place. I said that was a really stupid idea. If the Supreme Court allows pardons for no crimes or for imagined crimes or crimes that could have been committed, I said that it was a bad thing to do because then it sets the precedent that every administration pardons their entire administration when they go out the door. If they continue to threaten that and they worry about that, then I guarantee you, if the Republicans lose in 2028, that is exactly what will happen. They will pardon every single person because the Biden already did it. So I think that the threats that they continue to make is a lot of that's just political theater. That's part of it. I mean, that's always we're going to resist super hard and we're going to arrest everybody that That's pretty standard on there for the Democrats. So I'm not too surprised by that. Okay.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
there was also some other stories like that was today. Like there was this hearing with the heads of Border Patrol. Like I think Greg Bavina was up there, and you had just a huge circle of stupid in terms of the questioning. Like the Democrat LaMonica MacGyver, she says like, "Are you religious? Like, are you aware that you're going to be burning in hell?" That's literally what she said.
Listen, these hearings, just like I said a minute ago, political theater is the best way to describe these things. All of them are like that. I mean, I even saw at one point, what's his name? My favorite, Swalwell, Fang, Chinese spy lover. That he was up there and he had the AI image, like they actually printed out the giant AI image of the shooting of Alex Peretti. Like, I mean, come on, dude. Like, you could have just used the normal image. The normal image was like it's damning enough by itself. I mean, why wouldn't you just use that? But no, he used the AI image of the guy without a head. Like it's retarded. Like I mean, it's so stupid.
No. He went after him for the 5-year-old. All
Oh,
right,
that's
and
right. That's right. That was a different guy, the 5-year-old.
Bongino went, yeah, we protected him when his father abandoned him. So
Sorry, wrong guy. The other Democrat that used the image of the AI
That
image.
was, I
So
think, Dick Durbin.
yeah, well, I mean, and all of this again is these hearings are all stupid. I mean, I can't stand the C-SPAN hearings because none of them are actually useful information. Very rarely is there something useful discussed in these C-SPAN meetings. I mean, it's almost always just how can we get our next gotcha for our next campaign ad or something like that. I mean, that's like almost all of them. So it's not really that useful of information.
Yeah, and speaking of campaigns,
it needs
guys,
to be described.
Guys, try not to cut each other off. You got to remember there's a lot of other people listening in other streams, and crosstalk does not come across great. Doesn't come across great. So just try and keep that in mind, guys.
All right, yeah. So, and speaking of campaigns, I think Trump just made a huge mistake. He just re-endorsed Maria Salazar, who wanted to give amnesty to over 20 million illegal aliens. So I don't know why he did that. Okay, I've met this woman personally. There's nothing really that impressive about her, in my opinion.
Salazar is one of the most popular congressmen in her district. I mean, she's not going anywhere, to say the least. I wouldn't suggest that she's going to go anywhere. And she has a huge immigrant population in her district, and she's very popular there. So, as far as I'm concerned, Salazar, I agree with you. I don't like that she talked about amnesty. She actually was pushing forward a bill that would have essentially granted amnesty broadly. But in terms of her going anywhere, she would win that election with or without Trump's endorsement. To be honest with you, Salazar's very popular there. So, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I
that's
used
just
to
a
live in
simple
her
win.
district. I used to live in her district for 4 years. Nobody there speaks English.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
not
was
it's not someone that's going to go away. Okay, Jared, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Trump makes a lot of mistakes when it comes to endorsing. But so to go back to Jack Trin's first story, um, with in regard, I just don't know how the Democrats think they're gonna arrest anyone when they take. I mean, we don't have the Department of Justice, so I mean, are we gonna send the Sergeant of Arms at Howard Lutnick? Is that what we're gonna do? I
Well,
mean,
that
that's the only thing
listen, you never know. I mean, apparently the Democrats are good at arresting people, Jared. So
they
they
are.
could come up with something. So I mean, you never know. But in terms of that, would be in 2028, I assume, is what they're usually talking about. I mean, even if the Democrats retake the House, guys, they can't. I mean, the best they can do is hamstring the Trump agenda. They can't go and arrest people. I mean, it's the same problem that the Republicans had when they retook the House. Okay, I mean, they took the House, and then what did they do? They sent referrals constantly to the DOJ, and the DOJ just ignored them. So I mean, it's not any different for the Democrats if they get back in charge. I do find it interesting. There's a bunch of people that are on the of the Democrat side that oh my God, it's you guys can't win the midterms once they happen. It's all over for you guys. Like, well, okay, so the chances of you taking the Senate are very small. Okay, of actually retaking the Senate is very small. If they did manage to retake the Senate, then what are you going to do? You're going to impeach Trump and put Vance in charge, and what are you going to impeach Vance? I mean, it's just going to be an endless circle of nonsense if they keep doing that stuff. But even then, they still don't have Department of Justice until 2028, so that wouldn't even help them there. So it's again, I say that all of these hearings, almost all of it, is just theater. So they're just going to keep talking and make sure that they want to keep bringing
Well,
stuff up.
well, even if we did win the Senate, which I don't think is I think which I agree with you, Walter, which would be a long shot. But even if we did win the Senate, we still would not be able to convict uh, Trump of any crime or misdemeanor. I mean, we would need what? We would need, 2/3 of the Senate just to do that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. These days, you have Senate Republicans who sometimes do vote. I mean, like if you asked me in 2020 when you actually had 5 Senate in the Senate body vote to actually convict the sitting Republican president. So you never know these days. Schumer can concoct anything up. I will say there was also some other news, very bad news for Jeanine Pirro, U.S. Attorney of D.C. And Walter, we talked about this. You and I always talk about this, right? About the grand juries where prosecutors in DOJ, Pam Bondi's prosecutors, always go to the grand jury. What happened here in Letitia James? They went to the grand jury. Did you see this? Tried to indict Senator Mark Kelly in the as Jacktron reminded me last night, the seditious six, and the grand jury said, "Get the hell off my desk." So they couldn't even indict them again. It's
Well, I
like
mean,
these
I
people
don't.
can't revenge right.
So I don't.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. But to me, I never even thought that was going to go forward. I didn't think they were going to indict him there. Now, what they did do was they actually docked his pay from the Department of War. So that's something that already happened. I thought that was going to be the only way they'd be able to do anything. To be honest with you, the only way you'd be able to prosecute or do anything against Mark Kelly was going to be through military court. And that was only because he was a retired military officer and had a retired rank. And that's the only way you'd be able to do anything with it. So the idea that he was going to get indicted on something, I didn't think that there was enough there to be able to do that. And being able to get a grand jury to say that, some senator said something and you need to arrest him for it, unlikely in the first place. I never thought they were going to be able to do that with Mark Kelly. I did think that the military court itself specifically is the only way they were going to be able to do that, which they did. I mean, they did dock his pay from inside the Department of War, so he did have repercussions for it. It's just, I mean, the only other thing that could have happened there would have been if Mark Kelly was recalled to service. They vacate his Senate seat. And then after they vacate his Senate seat, then they prosecute him in a court martial. That would have been the only way that that could have happened. And I never expected anything else to happen from that other than some sort of version of that. And by the way, someone in here is mentioning here, something saying that this, I've never heard of an appendix carry. I have never seen someone wear an appendix carry firearm on the exterior of their pants with the wrong holster. So, yeah, I've heard of an appendix carry, and none of the people that wear an appendix carry wear it on the exterior of their pants in the wrong style holster for the gun that they're carrying. So no, I have heard of it, but no one wears it like a retard like this person did. So that's just nonsense.
I will say, so back to the one for the, I guess you have two Arizona because you have the senator from Arizona, Mark Kelly. But I will say though, that yes, I agree that you, Walter, I mean, you're a pretty smart guy in MAGA, and I think you know that they're not going to just win this by, drafting an indictment and, telling. And again, they went to a grand jury in Washington, D.C. So you're going to a grand jury, people that live in Georgetown, okay, who work, as producers for CNN and think that they're going to indict Senator Mark Kelly. That's not going to happen, my friend. However, they think that they can do this, right? So MAGA supporters, the people that actually don't know, are looking at this and they're like, oh, great. Janine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney of D.C., just tried to indict a sitting U.S. Senator. And the grand jury's like, no, we're not going to do this. So this is really not a problem. I'm seeing MAGA say, well, Pam Bondi, she's running to a brick wall. She's not a judge. She can try to charge someone. They can try to do a grand jury, but if a judge ultimately dismisses it, then that's what happens.
Yeah, well, again, Jared, I don't particularly care about Senator Kelly. That's some story that I never thought was going to go anywhere in the first place. If people thought that they were going to somehow prosecute a sitting senator, the only way, again, that this could have happened, would have been if it actually went to a military tribunal of some kind and they went into a court martial and they recalled him to service, which that would have been the most extreme result out of this possible. I mean, they didn't even try and go after the other people involved in this. I would have never expected. I'm kind of surprised they even tried it. I mean, I didn't expect this to go anywhere in a normal court. The only way it would have been worthwhile or even a possible would have been through military court. So I'm not too interested by that. By the way, someone said it's not an appendix carry, it's an appendage carry, and that's hysterical. I really like that. That's very funny. Very funny, Sedge. That is great. I like that a lot. It is an appendage carry. I think that's the perfect name for that carry style. That's what I'm going to call it from here forward.
Okay. Kash Patel was just on with Sean Hannity this hour, and he said that there are now persons of interest, so more than one person, but as of now, we know that there's one person who they have detained. It looks like, though, TMZ is reporting that Nancy Guthrie has not been located. So three sources are saying the same thing: ABC, TMZ, and CNN.
I did see. So there was a bit of analysis that came out earlier that someone said that while on the footage, it looked like the guy that was messing with the camera looked back and was motioning to somebody else. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they were actually here for a full kidnapping, like an actual kidnapping scenario, then maybe they would have needed more than one person. And there was another report of a white van being in the area too. I don't know. This might have been a serious, very, very high level operation with multiple people involved, and maybe they have more people. But I will say that the amount of information that's happening is pretty interesting. The amount of response that's happening currently. That's why I'm saying we're going to have to monitor it throughout the show this evening. Okay, I've got another person up here. What's up, Christian?
Hey, Walter. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. What's up, buddy?
So seeing all this and supposedly they didn't have a subscription to the camera and stuff really concerns me. As to that this technology is very, very dangerous, and I think the American people should really be concerned, because this stuff can get abused, and it's just who knows how far government can use this and abuse this on the American people.
Well, I brought this up before. The reality is that if anybody didn't think that they could do this already, you kind of were missing it. I mean, I don't think that there's a possibility where this is something they couldn't have done. I'm not surprised at all that they had access to it. I mean, I was just talking about the fact that, guys, it's very likely that they have full ability to, look at your cameras. You can do all that, especially for law enforcement. I guarantee you it's in the terms of service for all these things. I don't even sort of doubt that. So, I mean, the idea that, oh my God, it's scary that they can do this. I mean, there was even a moment today, someone brought up Ring cameras had an ad talking about looking for dogs, and then everyone was freaking out that they were going to use it for surveillance. And guys, again, if you sign up for a cloud-based service that's watching cameras outside of your house, if you think that law enforcement can't get a hold of that, you're nuts. I guarantee you they talk about it in the terms of service. 100% guarantee you that's actually in terms of service. I would be shocked if it wasn't. I don't think it's really that surprising to me that the law enforcement has the ability to look at these cameras and they can use it as for that. I mean, of course they are. It's cloud-based. It's a large company. They're going to give the feds or anybody who asks access to it if they need it. Of course they are.
And did you see there was also another sub story today? So basically, a person, I believe a reporter there on site, ordered pizza or ordered
I did see that.
DoorDash or whatever.
I saw that.
And a delivery, just the
Domino's,
incompetence.
Domino's arrived at the scene and walked straight up to the front door. One dude, like the Domino's guy, like, okay, whoever ordered it is an idiot. And I saw the Prima local county PD put out, said, we can't believe we have to say this, but don't order pizza to the crime scene. But for the other side of this is, what idiot that works for Domino's rolled up, saw media, cop cars, the FBI, and was like, you know what? I'm going to walk right up to that door and try to deliver this pizza. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, you might need to use a little bit better judgment. And I just saw the video of the guy, like, walking like he had no idea what he had done. Like, oh my God, dude. Like, how did that even happen? I mean, just amazing.
Somebody needs to tip me.
Yeah, seriously. The guy needs a big tip for that one. I mean, that's the most ridiculous part of this story today. Just the pizza delivery straight to the crime scene, where he walked right over top of the blood, walked right up to the door where it's in the middle of it. Should be an active crime scene, just amazing to me. That was so stupid. I can't believe that even happened.
Yeah, and also, well, I mean, I can't believe we have to say this, but sheriff's office, please keep your crime scene secure. Like, it's not on a pizza delivery driver. I mean, I just feel bad for the guy. Poor guy's just trying to, like, make a couple dollar tips here and there and just delivering lunch, and just walks
straight into a crime scene. Yeah, I mean, that. I agree with you. I mean, like, you can't put that on the media.
All the cops were eating the donuts. They weren't looking for the pizza.
Yeah, well, whatever they were doing, it was not wise. That was just ridiculous to me that happened. I mean, just watching that, it was like, oh, come on. I mean, seriously? Like, that's really what's happening right now, that you've got pizza delivered straight to the door of the crime scene. Kind of amazing to me. But go ahead, Christian. You got your hand up.
It's crazy to me. I mean, I get it. It's a private company, and they have it in their terms and conditions, and they're entitled to that as a private entity. But when law enforcement and the government is behind this as well, it gets in the muddy waters of Fourth Amendment violations and stuff, and that's where it can get really muddy.
Well, I mean, again, if you're agreeing to it, then there's not much I would say. That, I mean, the FBI is going to get access to this if they need it. That's when, I mean, the same thing. I said the same thing about Alexas in your houses and stuff like that. Like, I don't use any of those things. That stuff is obviously all going to be listened to. And there was already cases where they solved murders and stuff based on that stuff, guys. So, I mean, this is kind of old news that people were like, oh my God, surveillance. Like, yeah, well, you live in the digital world. If you're not paying attention to your digital footprint, then yes, the feds and everybody else can see it. So not really that surprising there. Okay, let's see here. If you guys, by the way, if you want to come up here and join the show, guys, you're more than welcome to do so. All you have to do is come up here and request. If you're on any of the other streams, if you're on Rumble, Substack, wherever you guys may be listening to the show, it looks like the live stream on X is not working for whatever reason, but it doesn't matter if you guys want to watch the show. You can watch the show on WCDispatch.com. It's live there. But for whatever reason, it's not working there. So if you guys want to share the link out to the space and you guys want to come up here and join, you need to go to WC Dispatch on X and you can join the show and chime in yourself. You're more than welcome to do so. I can't really check my messages. Someone sent me something and say, if you got something for me to see, just put it in the chat and I'll be able to check it out, guys. But anybody else is more than welcome to come up here and join. Make sure you guys put a comment down below and share the link out. I'm Walter Curtin. This is the Political Theater, so I appreciate you guys. It says it is working on X, but I can't see it, so it's not working for me for whatever reason. So I don't know why why I can't see it, because I was going to share it up on the top of the space. But go ahead, Angel.
Yeah, I messaged you a message because I had a girl moment. I do use guns, and that just to me did not look like it could be like a center fire pistol or anything. It looked like it would be like a dagger or a knife with a weird handle or something, maybe. I just don't know. I'm having my doubts about the knife thing. It just seems heavy. You can thumbs down me, Vince. I'm sorry. I am a girl at the end of the day, and I'm not really sure how this would be carried in like type of holsters. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you about that. Hence, I DM'd you and did not say that publicly.
Well, I mean, to me, I definitely think it looks like a gun, and the way that he's carrying it is the weird part about it. I mean, to me, it's very, very strange. Very, very strange the way that it even has it set up. So I don't know why he would carry it like that, or why anybody would carry a gun like that. That doesn't make any sense to me. So it definitely looks like a firearm. Looks to me. At first, I thought it was a revolver, but based on a couple of other images of it, and I put some of the images up on the screen earlier. But it's definitely not. I definitely think it's not a revolver anymore. I think it's a full-size semi-automatic pistol. Is what it looks like to me. I did a couple of options for what I thought it would be. Probably an H&K VP9, something like that, where it's got the rounded edge on the edge of the beaver tail on it. That's what I think it is. But I mean, it's really difficult to tell. It's grainy footage anyway. So, okay, go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, anybody that was carrying a gun like that has never carried a gun before, and they don't understand what it was. They're more afraid of it. They were trying to be intimidating to Nancy. That I got a gun right here. This is what I got. All right. And all of you that are complaining about them using the doorbell footage and the video footage and everything else, like, listen, anything that's connected to the internet, whether it be your car, your motorcycle, your lawnmower, your cameras, the feds all have access to it. It doesn't even matter what your terms of service says. The feds have access to it. The internet is forever, and it will all be there, and they can take all of it. They don't think you have any sense of privacy at all.
Yeah, that's what my point is. I mean, if it's connected to the internet, guys, then if it's a cloud, especially if it's a cloud-based service of some kind, it's not private. I mean, it's just not. They can access it if they need to, especially when law enforcement requests. What are they going to say? No. I mean, it's just not likely. Okay, we got other requests, but if you have your hand up, go ahead. All right, I'm going to bring up Josh here onto the show. Jordan, what's happening, man? Are you actually still just working on your tool? Are you still working on the bot?
No, it's completely done and built out.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, no, I think a lot of other people took the hint and went and did it themselves as well. I'm reading an article right now from one of our boys, Choose Liberty. He wrote an article on it just recently, so I'm just reading through his stuff.
Nice. Cool. What's up, Josh? How are you, buddy?
All right, how are you?
Doing just fine. We are watching to see what happens with the Nancy Guthrie case this evening.
Well, I was gonna say I definitely echo y'all's concerns about these at home cameras. I would love to be able, well, and not only that for me, but I didn't even think about the police watching it. I really thought about the actual security companies watching it, and obviously I have no issue with people being on camera if they show up at my house, but I don't want to be on camera at my own house. Like I want to have privacy at my own house. and not have somebody sitting behind a computer at 3 a.m. watching me walk into my house.
Right. Well, I mean, again, I think the problem with that is that anybody that thinks that you're getting that from the getting that from your Ring camera that cost you $80 that you installed on your front door, yeah, no, they're going to have you sign something and you're going to turn it over to the police if they ask for it. I guarantee it. So again, I'm not too surprised by this whole event here.
And I think when you buy these, like, you buy Ring cameras and stuff, like, you sacrifice the privacy for security, right? Like, technically you kind of do want somebody at 3 a.m. watching you walk inside your house, because if they found somebody, if there was somebody at 3 a.m. watching the front door, we wouldn't be in this situation, right? So there is that. That's kind of like the uh, double-edged sword, if you will, right? You sacrifice privacy for security, but you get security. If
Yep.
that Ring camera's not there, then you don't get at least the picture of who the person is, right? You just kind of get, oh well, this happened and we don't really know what's next. I do think that, on the other hand, like, when you go back and you look at security in general, this is actually a good thing. I know everybody wants to complain about the surveillance state, but, like, I always tell everybody, go back 10 years. There's no difference between now and 10 years ago. Realistically, there's not. The only difference is that there was ATMs and there was phone booths. And when those were there, those had cameras in them too. And so do ATMs. So either way, they're still going to track you. They're still going to find a way. Most stoplights now, they have cameras in them. They're going to see you walking or driving or running or biking or going anywhere down the street, right? The best you could do is go into the woods, and then they still know where to look. It's like, you have to, it's just, when you think about it, it's not like there's no difference between 10 years ago and now. It's just the fact that now the technology is so sophisticated that instead of them
Good
finding
morning,
you.
good morning, everybody.
Oh,
Good
okay, we're gonna
morning.
go ahead and remove you. But instead of it taking 20 minutes to find somebody, now they can find you in 50 seconds, right?
Yep.
And realistically, the judge, whoever it is to get the warrant, he's going to wake up out of his sleep and sign that warrant to find the missing person. Especially in any small town, he's just going to do it. It's not like, it's New York City, Manhattan. You got to get a judge out of bed at 1:30 in the morning for a robbery. He's not going to do that, right? But in a smaller town, yeah, of course the judge is just going to wake up and say, I want this case to end now. It's
Yep.
just that simple.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they have any problem getting that warrant, even if they needed it. My guess is that
To
they
be honest
probably.
with you, to be honest with you, it's such a big case at this point, Walter, that I'm pretty sure that that Ring is like, dude, we'll help you in whatever way, because they actually, speaking of which, this is just funny that they got this on Ring camera, but Ring just actually signed a new AI deal that actually tracks dogs, right?
Yeah, I
So
saw that.
they can use the AI to actually track exactly where this person went all the way until there's no more Ring cameras left. So, like I said, what do you want to sacrifice here? You're like, I don't want somebody at 3 in the morning, dude. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry,
mean,
but
guys,
like,
it
you
really
threw
is.
that away a long time ago.
Yeah, that's already long gone. By the way, there's a bunch of people saying that they just detained somebody, a person of interest. Yes, guys, we've already mentioned this before. There was someone about 30 minutes ago that they have detained a person of interest. We don't have any updates on that. I can't really see, if we haven't seen any current updates of what that person is, who that person is, or what their connection is to the case. So we're going to keep monitoring that, obviously. But I want to say hi to a couple of people that came up here on stage. Santino, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I was just listening in. I was about the security system. When you talk about security systems, they have evolved in some sense. When you're going circling back to the 1960s, 1970s, people were purchasing, going through like a corporate, a company like Chubb Security or AT&T. So they had their choices be having, the sensors or the ones on the doors or the ones on the windows as well. But mind you, people didn't like that fact that they actually could watch everything you were doing, who was coming to your door, if it was questionable or not. The thing is, even if you try to avoid that, the sensors or the cameras, the people at the home base, so when you call, you say they had to get a notification that someone's broken in, they will still be able to tap into what has happened, who was there. They're still monitoring through some sort of system going through your security system.
Yep.
It's interesting how this is evolved. But what Jordan was saying, he's absolutely correct and on point. I mean, they always have some way of monitoring you over the years, regardless how much you want to. So you have to sit there and say, you know what? Do I want the security, or do I just don't want to have the security and take my chances? You have to meet these people halfway. But with that, you have to, if you're doing something questionable, yeah, you're not going to want that monitoring 4 hour surveillance. I personally, on my home, I have that. I have the windows, the doors, the two monitors. So I want that extra protection. And you know what? Because I don't do anything questionable. But if you're doing that, then yeah, you're gonna have to think about it. But I mean, security systems are great. It's how you use them, right? So anyway, thank you so much. Yeah, it's great, great topics.
Good to have you up here, Santino. Stephanie, I haven't talked to you in a while. How are you?
Hey Walter, I'm great. How are you? I know
Doing just
I
fine.
miss I miss hearing your faces. You're still my go-to OG for hearing real, what's really going on. So as soon as I saw like, what they were talking about with AI and all this, I had to post an article in the Purple Pill that was fascinating because this came up in a space that I was in a few weeks ago. And we were talking about all of these things with the AI. We actually have spaces every Wednesday that we talk about AI and all this. But anyway, it's actually sort of a recent development that and okay, so security cameras have had for a long time, like facial recognition to a certain point, right? Like you can say, don't give me a notification. I have my car scanned in mine. For example. So I don't get a notification like if my neighbor's car drives up, you know what I mean? So anyway, back in this just happened in December of 2025, so just a couple months ago, there was, and this is sort of a slippery slope with anything. Whenever, okay, when you sign a whatever you sign, like that fine print, like if you remember that South Park episode with the apple, um, it's kind of like that, like 23andMe, when people sold, did their DNA, and then 23andMe sold to another company, and then all of a sudden everybody's DNA is out there on the free market. So anyway, there's a small company that I believe I have the article pulled up. Hold on. It was a small company called Familiar Faces or something like that, and they specialized in surveillance, like special, almost like for law enforcement type
Hmm.
facial recognition. So then they uh Amazon bought the company, and then I can't remember what direction it went in, but Amazon pretty much bought up Ring and this company. So in essence, that somehow with all they almost like bought the rights or whatever, that the security that people signed away. That is when the ring cams really went online, and they were enabled more than just regular security cameras to do facial recognition. In fact, there's a lawsuit right now. It was maybe just a couple of weeks after this happened and the ring cameras really started, being able to do this. There was the first arrest, and this kind of is very close to like Minority Report. There was a pizza delivery guy that, or some kind of delivery guy, I can't remember, that delivered something to a house, and somehow the camera picked it up, and he was, I guess he had a warrant out for it, he deserved to
He
be
had
in
a
jail,
warrant out.
so they arrested him. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
wild.
it was, he was like a wanted felon. I mean, he was a violent criminal. But anyway, it somehow went through, that facial recognition, and went to law enforcement, and they arrested him. So they found him because of that. And to me, that's great. I think that's fine. But, of course, it's going to spark a lot of controversy. So, yeah, as soon as
Yeah,
I
well,
saw these ring cameras,
all that tells me,
yeah,
Stephanie, is read the fine print, people. If you've got one of these things, if you care about that stuff, then read very carefully about what they say, because
even if you do,
they are
though, a
using it.
company,
They're using it. I'll say that. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
I think it's great. But the thing is, if you read it and you sign it, and you're like, okay, this company's legit. If they sell it to another company, you're fucked. I mean, that's kind of the point. So anyway, yeah, it's interesting. I put the article in the pill. It's kind of cool. It breaks it down pretty good. So anyway, had to tell you
But
that.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So,
but here's the problem with that. Okay, that you read the fine print, you know what's gonna happen, what they're gonna do with your data, that they say they're going to do, and the feds don't give a crap about your personal agreement with your provider. Okay, they're gonna take the data. If it's on the internet, it's available to the feds. It's going to be sucked up. It's going to be collected. The NSA, the CIA, everybody is taking that data. The FBI, they can access all of it. It's like,
Well, I mean, the reality is that this is old news, guys. To be honest with you, I mean,
yeah,
like anybody who thinks this is new stuff has just not been paying very much attention.
you
At this point, the
you
one
there's
difference
no
now,
privacy,
there's, I
none.
mean, there's not. I mean, the reality is that all this stuff is already out there. Your entire digital footprint has been ingested by some AI that already has all this information anyway. And anybody that doesn't, this is what thought was so funny when people were screaming about Palantir, like, oh my God, Palantir's like, guys. Facebook knows what time you go to the bathroom. Like, just you have Facebook on your phone. Like, do you remember when there was a huge incident when Facebook at one point, when Apple changed the way that the apps can track you and whatnot, that like wiped out like 20% of Facebook's like marketing capability for people that said no, they don't want that to happen. Like wiped out a huge portion of Facebook's like revenue, and they had to like figure out a way around that. So if you guys think that these apps aren't doing this sort of stuff, you just don't. I mean, it's like what's the old South Park where they had the terms of service and then the things
Yeah,
that
the
you agree
apple.
to. Yeah, it's just he
The
agreed to
human
it.
centipede.
Yeah, the human centipede. It's like he signed this. They signed the agreement. I mean, it really is. No one reads those things. I mean, they're a bazillion pages long. No one ever pays any attention to them, and they have no idea what they're signing every time they sign them. And they just push OK and they continue through it. I mean, it's just that's just. These are all the terms of services that you're not aware to. So I mean, the worry that everything is somehow going to be surveillance in the future, you have missed the boat. Is all I'm saying. Okay, Angel, go ahead. You got your hand up, and I got another request.
So I feel like maybe this might be the reason that people have cameras on their doors. Maybe it's me, like that's why I have them. So if something happens to me, there is footage that someone can recover. And I hope that it would be attached to anything that the feds could recover in case I am missing. But I mean, I have like a security company that has like 24-hour surveillance on my property, so I I don't care. Like, why would anyone care? Why is this a big deal? Your phone, if you have facial recognition on your phone, if you have anything on your phone, you're already on the grid so hard.
Yeah,
And
I
by the
love it.
way,
I love it when people are like, "Oh my God, they're going to get facial recognition." It's like, have you seen this amazing thing called a driver's license? It sits in your wallet, and it's a perfect picture of your face that the government has and stores in a database. Now, there's also these other amazing things called passports that do the same thing, but it's in a book form. It's a little flip page. Yeah, that's called a passport. So anybody that thinks that this data isn't sitting somewhere in the government servers, like you guys, come on. I mean, Real ID, that is now like the only way you can fly. They've made it like almost impossible. They take a photo of you every single time you go through the airport. So like the surveillance stuff that exists from this, I'm sorry, people, like it ain't going away. And the other side of this is at least now we've got people that are starting to pay attention to the tech that we need to have, because before I think all that stuff was just owned by anybody and they could do whatever the hell they wanted with it. I mean, essentially China was just ingesting all of your data and just doing whatever the hell they want with it. If you had TikTok on your phone up until just a couple months ago, it was just it's just an app sucking every piece of data that exists for you. So again,
Which is why we
I'm
need
not
Palantir, right?
well, I mean, that's one of the reasons that people argue for it. But to me, I just don't like, unless you actually practice data segregation, which nobody does. And if those don't know what data segregation is essentially for every app and every service that you have, it has its own individualized email and it's separated from your phone. It's separated from everything. But no one cares about that stuff. And no one does that because at some point, everybody goes, well, it's so much easier just to have everything accessible through my, passwords app on my Apple phone, and I can just log into everything. So instead of having to have a million passwords that you have to remember, it does it all for you. So very, very few people actually do that. I know some people who do that are really worried about it. They really pay a lot of attention to it, and they use there's a website called privacy.com, so they don't even put their main data in anywhere. It actually generates credit card numbers that you can put into any data, so that way if you want to shut it off, you can shut it off. I mean, there are ways to do this, but nobody does it. I mean, it's almost nobody does it. At one point, I was going to put out a long video explaining how to do data segregation if you wanted to, but most people just don't care. I mean, they want to log into their Google device from everything in their home and want to ask Alexa what the weather is. They don't give a shit if it's listening to them. So, I mean, it's just how it is these days. Okay, let's see here. We've got a couple hands up.
I was trying to say,
Yeah, go ahead.
Alexa is the devil, honestly. Alexa, Amazon, and the cameras that they hook up to Alexa and Amazon. Your Amazon app follows you, records you, tracks you, takes pictures of you, takes pictures of whatever,
So
and
does
sends
my
you
so
the
does the
camera.
sa- what it- so does my BMW when I started. I mean, I don't think there's a difference. It's everywhere. It's a
Yeah,
you're not gonna you're not gonna be
One
able to say
second,
you can't say that
but
You can't say Amazon's the devil, then not say Apple's the devil and Google's
well,
the
I
devil and
wouldn't say
Microsoft's the
Amazon.
devil and Logitech's the devil. Like I mean,
it's
and
everything.
Canon's the devil and Nikon's the devil. So I mean,
By
come
the way,
like
TSA scans your
And
retina. They're
Meta.
not just taking your picture.
It's I'm trying to still finish a sentence, mind you. I'm just saying they're using it for marketing. They're not using it to follow you around. And if you care that much, you can always put a band-aid over it or just do a closed circuit whatever on your on
the Band-Aid doesn't work, right? Like
Yeah,
you do know that they
again,
can see right through it.
yeah. Listen to me. There's no real way to get around this unless you actually practice very, very detailed, very, very intricate data segregation, which is nobody does. So I mean, it's just. Like it's not worth worrying about it, honestly, unless you're doing stuff that's like illegal constantly. I mean, I don't really think it's really worth worrying about. Of course, anybody that thinks that they don't have access to this stuff if they need it is just sorry. You missed the boat. Okay, I mean the social media is a tracking device that was designed to get people to so they know everything about you to the point that they know how many steps it takes you to get up and go upstairs in your own home. Okay, I mean this is just where we are as a world, and I know people are just now figuring this stuff out, but it's just reality, people. Sorry. Guys, make sure you guys share the link to this show out there. There's almost 300 people in here, and there's only like 20 reposts or whatever it is. So make sure you guys repost this show. Make sure you guys share the link out to other people. Let people know that we are live. This is the Political Theater. Jordan Daly is my host, my co-host here. Make sure you guys follow all the people up here on the stage. I got good speakers this evening. I see that there's a little bit of an update here. Looks like they actually have the guy in custody, the person of interest. So they are in custody now. I haven't seen any updates on who this person is, though. Do we have any updates on that?
I haven't seen it this far. It looks like they located the person of interest south of Tucson, Arizona. That's all that I've seen. Um, I've also seen that it hasn't been confirmed yet, but that the person of interest, and again, we're being careful because this could be obviously someone who just knows information about um, a neighbor or someone on vacation coming back in the vicinity of Tucson, Arizona. Doesn't mean that they are the suspect or they are the mass gunmen that we saw earlier be released by the FBI. But it's a significant break, right? Because they could take this guy into the FBI field office in Tucson and interview this guy and ask him every single question and help find leads and help find, knock on wood, that Nancy Guthrie is still with us. Um, so they're also searching his person and searching his area that I also read as well. So I should note this is not a member of the Guthrie family because many people, internet sleuths, have been saying that, the son-in-law is involved, and to be quite frank, there was good reason to believe the son-in-law was involved just based on things that we've seen. So
Yeah. Well,
again,
that's
person of interest, not a suspect. A
yeah.
huge
There's a SWAT
distinction.
team and a bomb squad headed on I-10 South, southeast on
Correct.
I-10 South.
There's a
Yeah,
bomb squad now. Jesus. All right.
Yeah.
helicopters too.
That's new. Okay, so there's a bomb squad now. I mean, I saw that there was SWAT teams already doing things. I saw that there's the FBI's, whatever it is, the hostage negotiation team is there on the ground. So, again, looks to me like we're actually going to see something pretty interesting here. So it looks like this. Someone said that there's a $6 million ransom payment. No, guys, the $6 million, they didn't deposit $6 million was made. That didn't happen. It was $300. Okay, so the $300 there was activity in the wallet, and it was $300 that was sent. Not the $6 million, unless there's some new update that I've completely missed. But the only update I saw for people activating the Bitcoin wallet was that someone sent it $300. Okay, we got another person up here on stage. What is up, Godfroy?
Thank you. Yeah, I just had a question for you. At what point is Trump going to actually arrest somebody? It's like he's allergic to arresting people from the deep state. And again, I know from my end that he was all talk to begin with, and that he's only here to cover up Epstein. That's all he seems to do, from Epstein Bindergate to July 7th when the DOJ sent out that memo that Epstein's been covered up. And he's still in violation of federal law, having only released 50% of the Epstein files. So, like, and Todd Blanche just said there's no case still. So like, at what point are people in MAGA going to realize that Trump is he lied about the deep state?
Well, okay,
He
so
has Bill Gates over to a royal dinner instead of arresting him for COVID. Like, when is this guy going to show up?
well, so you want to arrest people, but you have to secure indictments to be able to arrest people. And so far, the DOJ has not been able to get indictments on essentially anybody. So no, I'm not happy about the fact that anybody hasn't been arrested yet. That's ridiculous. Now, in terms of saying that Trump is only here to do that, as far as I can tell, the amount of Epstein files that have been released right now is more than anybody has ever seen for anything ever before, ever. So, claiming that he is only here to cover it up, you have more information now. There are more emails now than anybody thought they would ever see. So claiming that he is only there to cover it up, I think, is a bit ridiculous, because the idea is that we so these 3 million files that actually have really detailed information. There's a new co-conspirator that was released today. There was a bunch of other information that was released today. Now, the DOJ is obviously, it's like pulling teeth from these people. They don't want to release this stuff. It's very obvious that the deep state within the DOJ doesn't like that this stuff is being pulled out of them, but they did pass a law and they're being forced to do it. I mean, it looks to me like members of Congress are going forward and going through these things with the unredacted versions and telling them, hey, this needs to be unredacted right away. That says co-conspirator. Co-conspirators need to be unredacted. So you are getting new names and there's new things happening. Again, you have to remember, in terms of arresting people, you have to have something to arrest them for. Okay, just sending an email, unfortunately, you can't just arrest people for sending an email, no matter how horrible it is. Now, that person should be subpoenaed and asked serious questions. What the hell does this mean? That's probably something worth doing. But in terms of actually getting to arrest people, you have to go through the process and indict people. And so far, as I've said before, it doesn't appear that the DOJ has the ability to really do that. So, being able to get the DOJ to investigate itself is, it seems, what we've been seeing here. I've actually said for a while that I think the only way that you'll be able to do some of this stuff is you would have to set up an additional judicial group that is designed specifically so that it can go after people within the deep state. So you'd have to set up almost a secondary Department of Justice, give it power of attorney, give it ability to actually prosecute and do things. And I think that's the only way you'd be able to do some of this stuff. I mean, you've got people from the Crossfire Hurricane stuff that we know what they did. We know exactly how it all operated, and nothing happened to them at all. Nothing. I mean, they got $1 million settlements from Biden's DOJ, and they're still practicing law and living their lives. So, I agree that there needs to be something done and people need to be arrested, but how exactly does the president himself have anything to do with that? How can he manage to do it if the DOJ isn't cooperating? I think that's the really only way you can look at it, because the DOJ, no matter how you look at it, Trump only has something like 30 of his attorneys. 62 of them aren't even through the appointment process. They won't even confirm half of his people. So you've got a huge problem within the DOJ, and that doesn't even include the AUSAs that are underneath those people that probably should have all been replaced, but how do you get rid of the entire AUSA, Department of Justice? I think that is a huge problem. Being able to really scale down the Department of Justice is a monumental task, apparently, and it is something that has taken forever. But just the fact that we have these files in the first place, I think the only reason that we even have them is because that law passed. So, that's the only update you can really give for that. And Trump signed the lawsuit, trying to sign the law, and it's actually starting to move forward. And we've got way more information now than we ever did before. So I don't know how else to answer that question other than that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you bring up some fair points. I guess I agree with you that there should be a committee established to go after people, like a special counsel or something like that. Like, I agree with you, but Trump should have done that on day one. And the fact that Ed Martin is essentially being asked to step aside, and he himself was investigated for going after Eric Swalwell, it just tells me that, like, they're not serious about arresting people at all. And I know that the DOJ isn't technically, like, they're their own separate entity in a way, but Trump could have fired Pam Bondi after Epstein Bindergate, after that humiliating incident.
Listen, you will never get me to you'll never get me to say that I think Pam Bondi shouldn't be fired, because I think Pam Bondi has done a terrible job. The reality is that so many of these cases that continue to go through here, Pam Bondi is not up to the task. I've said this for a while. I've said that Pam Bondi is way more interested in her spot on Fox News than she is in actually getting things done. And you needed a pit bull in the role as the Attorney General. Now, the problem is that the Senate doesn't want to confirm anybody. And I think Andrew Bailey would have made a great Attorney General. I think there's a number of other people who would have made a great Attorney Generals. But getting these people through the Senate is not simple. And that's just the reality of it. I mean, again, you've got 62 people that still haven't been confirmed to even get into the DOJ. I think the only way that this would work would be establish an entirely separate group. I mean, a special prosecutor is one thing, but again, the special prosecutor at the end of that, they still have to, they still got to essentially work with the DOJ. I think you need something completely separate to be able to get some of this stuff done. I will say, though, that with the new files that have come out, the new stuff that has come out, these files, everybody's always said, oh my God, I refer to it as Groundhog Day. It's like, oh, it's the next big thing. Oh my God, we've got him. Like, listen, this time, the files that we see, some of the things that are within these things are so atrocious and so horrible that there is going to be very difficult for them to say, well, we don't need to release this name. Okay, like we don't, like the torture video. I mean, it's like, oh, I really liked the torture video, or these when your littlest girl was a little naughty. Okay, you got something there. You need to tell the people who that is, and those people, even if you don't have the ability to prosecute them, they need to be answering some questions. Okay, you need to get them on the stand, get them up there, and figure out who the hell those people are, and have them answer questions, because it appears that there is more than one co-conspirator that's not even in prison. So, I mean, if there's co-conspirators for the Epstein saga that are not in prison and not even being arrested and nothing has happened to them, then we've got problems and things need to change. But at least we know those names now. We didn't know those names up until, freaking 2 weeks ago. So the amount of files that have come out now, I think things are starting to change, and there's nothing they can do to put the cat back in the bag. Now people have seen it.
Hey, Walter, I think what you're saying...
Whoa, guys. Well, one at a time here. Okay, let's go ahead,
Walter. Hey, Walter, I think what you're saying and what Godfrey is saying is actually two separate things. Walter, I think you have a total misunderstanding of what Godfrey means by let's get justice. Okay, Godfrey, can you remind us, like, go back to Todd Blanche, his comments about Epstein? It's not even just about prosecuting, because I think
I can
like,
simplify
do you get what I'm
it,
saying?
right?
It's because like,
no, I can make it really simple.
It's not about prosecuting. It's about the people. It's about the priority to actually protect the victims. And we've seen this administration, they are trying to primary Thomas Massey. It seems like they're going, if you could just remind us all, because I think we're losing track into that.
So yeah, just really quickly. I mean, Walter, I respectfully disagree with you. I'm not trying to cause trouble on your space or anything, but the fact of the matter is, Todd Blanche has told us that there's no investigation into sex trafficking, into the Epstein ring. Like, if there's one message I'm sending right now, is that there's no current ongoing case against the Epstein ring, and that is the most disheartening thing. They're merely doing a document dump on us to placate the public, to give MAGA some red meat, to give the conservative base some red meat, to give you the impression that they're going to arrest anybody. But Pam Bondi covered up Epstein on July 7th. You have the just embarrassing Epstein Bindergate incident. And, and I'm not trying to cause a lot of trouble on your space, but the question I'm starting to ask is, you have people like Howard Lutnick in Trump's administration. You have Bill Barr, whose father got Jeffrey Epstein the job at the Dalton Prep School. You had Alexander Acosta, who he tried to get in, who helped, cover up the Epstein trial with the CIA in Florida. So it's like these people keep matriculating into the Trump administration who are part of Epstein's milieu. And it's like, at what point, like I'm just going to be as blatant as I can about it. Like, I think Trump is fully in on it, and that's why there's no open investigation.
No.
So hold on, guys. We're not going to all argue and scream over top of each other as soon as someone says something that we disagree with. So that's not going to happen in here. But I will say this: like, so you're trying to argue that Trump is specifically involved in this, and even though the files showed pretty much the opposite, that he even called the police on Epstein in the early 2000s. So it doesn't, to me, that doesn't line up either. But the bigger problem is you, again, are conflating the idea that Trump has the ability to personally do something about this. His Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, I don't like Todd Blanche. I don't like the DOJ, okay? I don't like Pam Bondi. I don't like Todd Blanche. But what exactly do you want to do about this? Who is he going to put into Attorney General right now? Who? You got somebody? Because nobody's going to get confirmed by the Senate. So he's in a tough scenario here. Hold on just a moment here, guys. Hold on. Don't cut me off. You've got a problem here, okay? You've got a problem where you have to have an attorney general to be able to do anything. Pam Bondi, as much as I dislike her, she managed to get through the Senate, and she's doing other things for the administration where she has to go up to the Supreme Court and argue a bunch of these nonsense cases that are actually useful, that we actually need to get done. But I still think that they're doing all that wrong in the first place. Should Pam Bondi be fired? Todd Blanche be fired? I don't know. I think that Pam Bondi, above all, should probably be removed a long time ago. I think she's a disaster. But again, you have to be able to replace that person. And who are you going to put in there? Who are you going to get in there? That's the problem. You've got a scenario where we're in a scenario right now where we're heading into the midterms. Trump's administration still can't get people through the Senate. They can't even manage to confirm most of their AUSAs or any of their U.S. attorneys across the country. They can't even get these people. Okay, so you've got the Senate blocking those people. You've got the DOJ that is staffed with thousands of people that don't like Trump and don't like being part of anything to do with this. Trying to put all of it at Trump's feet is not possible because all of this stuff is like been pulling teeth the whole time. Okay, Massey, his problem I have with Massey is that even though he managed to get this bill through, Ro Khanna's the one that really managed to get that bill through. Massey didn't really do a whole lot in my eyes. I think Massey is a ridiculous person. I don't like Massey at all. He's using this as a way to...
Massey was the front man.
Yeah, well, listen to me.
Ro Khanna did the hard work.
Yeah, Ro Khanna's the one that whipped the votes for that, okay? Massey, to me, is somebody who is using this as a means to campaign, okay? He's using it as a means to campaign. Whether or not he actually managed to pull it off, I doubt it, okay? I don't think so. I just, look, Massey has pissed off enough people because he refuses to vote for anything else. It'd be one thing if Massey was like, this was the one thing that he did, but it's not the one thing that he did, okay? Massey also refused to vote for the big, beautiful bill. He refused to vote for this. He refused to vote for that. He doesn't do anything except complain and vote with the Democrats, okay? So that's the problem with it. Yeah, listen, I don't have time for Massey. Okay, Massey is a waste of time. Ro Khanna is the one that managed to get that bill out of there and actually managed to get it forward and got the Democrats behind it and managed to push it forward. So in terms of what happens next and how this continues, again, we can scream from the hilltops that we want these people to be prosecuted and we want these things to happen, but you have to have something other than just the random emails, okay? You can't prosecute somebody on an email. What you should do, what should happen, is now that you have these emails, those names need to be released, and then the House and whoever else can drag those people in front of committee and demand that they answer questions. That would be very useful. That would be much more useful. At least now we are actually getting somewhere is what my point is here. Okay, Key, you were trying to get in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I agree with the sentiment from Godfrey. I disagree with a lot of what he says, but I understand the sentiment. And I think that people have to understand the separation of powers. Once you understand the separation of powers, how authorizations go, and how you can actually arrest somebody and how you can throw them in prison and take their rights away, you have to understand that there's the judicial branch, and Trump has very little sway in that judicial area. And then you have the legislative branch, which obviously, Massey's just one name, but there's many in that legislative area that's not helping him as well. And then he only has executive power. So unless you're telling me that these people are overseas, riding around on a boat filled with cocaine, there's not much he can do about that, right? Like there's very little power that the president can do directly against a U.S. citizen through these processes. Pam Bondi, I got arguments about Pam Bondi too, but hold on real quick. I got some arguments against Pam Bondi too, but Walter pointed out something very important. These people are not playing ball with her. People that work under the DOJ right now are the ones that are stifling everything that Godfrey wants done. And it's not her and it's not Kash Patel. There's people on the inside that are jamming it up every chance they get, and they're arresting them and firing them. So, and I would, just refer, to the DOJ's website and to the FBI's website. They're wrapping up pedophiles that are working as police officers, and even in the federal government. There's a guy in Maryland that was doing sex trafficking, was a federal agent. They're out there. They're wrapping these people up. They're not going to come out and say, hey, these people are connected to Epstein, because that's just not how it works in the back channels of how these communications go. So we're not going to know. But I'll tell you right now, the increase of these offenses and these charges on sexual predators is actually significant right now. And all you have to do is look at the numbers from Biden's administration to how many they're wrapping up right now, and you'll see there is something happening.
Well, hold on, guys. We can't all speak over each other. So that is an important point, and this is actually something I pointed out from Trump's first term, is that he actually did a lot of the arrests of child predators and stuff like that has skyrocketed in Trump's first term, and it actually did so in this term as well. So my point is to the DOJ problem and being able to arrest people is you still have to indict them. Okay, you have to indict them to be able to get them on crimes. Can you indict somebody on an email? No, probably not. You look at the amount of things that you should be able to indict people for. They say, oh, you can indict people for a ham sandwich. Well, can you? Can you really? Because it doesn't look like it.
I don't think you can indict somebody for this, Walter. And the reason why is because of self-incrimination. Like, you're incriminating yourself consistently doing that. I just don't see it, but
You know,
This is the problem. Okay, like being able to actually get and secure a real indictment is the problem. Okay, I think the best way to deal with this stuff, especially since we have so much new information, the better way to go about it right now is unredact the names from some of these freaking emails and let us know who these damn people are. I mean, that's the answer right now. Right now, we have more information than we've ever had before. Force that into the open and then force something to happen as a result of that is the next step. I mean, that's we're slowly moving along the road here, but that's the best you've got as of right now.
So if I can just say one thing real quick, I understand you made valid points about the emails and if it's just emails, but the SDNY seized over, according to journalist Nick Bryant, over 4,000 pieces of data that included CSAM material from Jeffrey Epstein's house. So it's not just emails, it's videotapes. They have all of his camera feeds. They have everything from Epstein Island. They have everything from Zorro Ranch. So the documents that we are seeing are only a part of it. And I understand they're required by law to deliver the emails. They're not required to deliver to us, the public, the videos and stuff like that. And Pam Bondi's even on tape saying there was, quote, child porn. That's her words, not mine. So
Right.
it's like,
And I know that.
at what point are these people going to do their jobs? And that's fine if you want to blame it on Pam Bondi, but it's like,
so listen,
if Trump was so besieged, why didn't he talk to us and tell us that?
Listen to me. So there's still a problem with even this idea, okay? And I brought this up before, is that just because you have videos and stuff like that, you guys, having a video of a guy going into a room is still not prosecutable. Okay, it's just not. I mean, unless you have, guys, stop interrupting, for the love of God, people. If you're on this show, you have to put your hand up and I'll call on you eventually here, unless I'm directly talking back and forth with you. So listen to me. Even if you have a video of a guy and he walks into a room with another person and you can think that the person is underage, okay? Listen to me. That's still not prosecutable. Unfortunately, it's just not. Now, you've got some really good reasons to go ask that person questions. You definitely have reason to go ask that person questions. And the other part of it is, are they identifiable? Can you see anything in the videos and images? By the way, the people that have talked about, there's one point I do want to bring up here that's reasonably important here. The videos, and there's a story that went around for many years from someone claiming that there was a bazillion cameras on Epstein Island or something like that, and they have all these footage and all this stuff like that. Do you realize that only comes from one single source in a single document that came out of the Florida case many, many years ago, and it was just one source, and she said she saw a room full of cameras. That's it. That's the only reference to all of the video footage. Everyone claims that there's a bazillion things of it. Now, if there's CSAM and all that stuff that exists, sure, you may have it, and you would better hope that they're prosecuting those people, but you're not going to get that footage released, obviously. So the question would be, what is that footage? Is that footage usable in prosecuting terms? That's the only answer you have there. Now, that's the only way you're going to be able to get some of these people and prosecuting evidence on them. If there's actual footage of you being able to identify the people within the footage and being able to use it. Okay, I need to go to some other hands here. Ian, you've had your hand up for a minute. Go ahead. I know you just joined the show. How are you?
Yeah, no, doing fine. And look, I think there's probably going to be a bias that I'm going to have that's going to align likely very much with Godfrey and some of his takes. And look, I can appreciate that a lack of solid evidence, right, can justify perhaps, let's say, discrepancy around what was and when wasn't taking place. However, when you have something where there is as much overt evil as we've seen out of Epstein, and it's not just the images, it's not just the messages to and from about some of the pedophilic things that were likely taking place on the island, but also the clear disdain that was held for not only the average American in many cases, but just for, let's say, normal people at large. And I say this because the messages of the idea of the goy, right? The average non-Jewish person. And I do note the commonality between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and Maxwell's father being a Israeli super spy and billionaire, the connections to Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel. There's an overwhelming triangulation of Jewish and Israeli connections behind this island. I see somebody that's throwing up a laughing emoji. I don't know why they would find this contentious.
Because you're wrong. Maxwell was for the French. It was intel for the French.
No, it was
wait, hang on. You're going to say Robert Maxwell, who was given essentially what is the equivalent of a presidential funeral in Israel? that he wasn't an Israeli
Guys,
super spy. There's
look,
literally a book entitled
guys, all
Robert
right.
Maxwell: My Life as an Israeli Super
Listen
Spy
to me.
that you can
Listen to
buy
me.
on
No, there
Amazon.
isn't.
All right, hold on here. So just, I don't need to mute people, but I just want to point this out here that, guys, it is very obvious if you actually look into the history of how Epstein operated with Bear Stearns, going all the way through the history of who he is and all this person, the entire history is, it's not just going to be one intelligence agency, okay? This is a full intel operation that existed across every single version of intel across the world, okay? That is why this is so interesting in the first place, because all of this information is not just like one group or something that's involved in this. It is all of them, okay? It's all of them. They're all involved in this giant ring of randoms. It's not just the Epstein specific case either. It is tons of other stuff that goes through years and years and years. This has been developed by our original CIA, is really where this all originally came from in the first place. But this is all just a constant, it's the opening up of us being able to see what the intel world does to create black money and to create compromat. That's what all this stuff is. So it's not just going to be one group involved in this. It is going to be multiple groups that are involved in this. And the fact that is probably most of it originated from our CIA. I would like to remind people, and I bring this up to people because people forget about it. The Finders Files is a file that I always bring up because in the Finders Files, and those don't know what that is, this is a case that broke open in the 90s and they released the documents in Trump's first term, in the 2018 term. In the Finders Files, one of the most interesting pages of that says, did the CIA and the FBI accidentally create a satanic child trafficking ring? That is the first question that it asks. Now, I would also point out that that case was shut down by none other than Eric Holder. So if you guys think this is just related to one group or something like that, it is other strange things that our government does and we don't know about, and they've done for many years. And this is what happens when the intel services essentially have no oversight, essentially zero. And now that we actually have a giant document dump that shows us a lot of this, you're seeing a lot of this stuff kind of unravel. And that's what's really been the most interesting part about this to me. And again, from what's happening currently with all the new stuff that's come out, at least now we have new names and people that should be questioned. I mean, for God's sakes, there's guys in this that have not been arrested. Les Wexner, everybody knows who Les Wexner is. Okay, we've known who this guy is for years, and nothing has ever happened to him. There are a number of people that need to be looked at and need to ask some serious questions of them, okay?
What percent of them are Jewish, Walter?
What percentage of the people in the files are Jewish? I don't know that, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
of the major names and major political
Is
players.
Steve Bannon Jewish?
Yeah, see, we're back to the Jews.
Guys,
well, no,
guys,
hang on. Walter, if I can, just really quickly, I would just throw out, I think it's worth noting, Robert Maxwell irrefutably was an Israeli asset. He was working for Mossad. We can talk about how the CIA is likely in bed with, if not completely compromised by Israel. I would agree that's a reasonable
listen. So that's you're wrong in your judgment of that, because I would argue.
I don't.
No, let's stop.
Walter, I'm not wrong, but what I would say is
buddy,
if I
you're
look,
not going to come into my space and cut me off. All right. So that's the only rule here. Okay. If I'm talking, shut the fuck up. That's easy. Okay. So listen to me. The problem that you have here is that you again assume that one group, that the Israelis, for whatever reason, you want to focus on the Israelis, even though the French were involved, the Germans were involved, we're involved. And the more important part about this is that essentially everything that comes back to the CIA itself created all of these groups. Okay, the CIA was with essentially zero oversight, ran all of these operations. They created the Five Eyes. They created all of the intelligence services. Okay, Mossad is just another wing of the CIA, buddy. That's just how it is. And this is what you can go all the way back to the history and see how this stuff developed. That's how this works. And this is the interesting thing about this. And now we have a lot more new documentation that has come out that shows how they have built money. Let's not forget about the amount of money that they created from the cocaine trafficking that they forced onto the entire world, that they forced into our own country and wrecked the inner cities of our country. That was directly because of our CIA. Directly because of our CIA. And then everyone always just, oh, no, they're all, it's all some other foreign group. It's not all some foreign other group. It is a large percentage of this stuff is us. Okay, it is our own intelligence services that have created these systems, and it came from us originally. It's not some other group that started it. It's not some other group that came up with it, and most of it is from us. Bear Stearns and all the stuff that Epstein did with Bear Stearns, that's the most interesting money connection. If you want to go dig into that, I recommend going and listening to Mike Benz has a lot about that. Go ahead.
Well, I would just say it was Jeffrey Epstein who emailed Peter Thiel saying on behalf of the $160 billion that he managed as part of the trust for the Rothschilds. That's not their total fund. That's just the one that he was managing, that they were interested in getting invested into tech. That was to Peter Thiel. Epstein also, of course, having lunch with Thiel, Zuckerberg, Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn, and Elon Musk in another email was revealed. And I would just say for the audience, for what it's worth, since the middle of November, Walter has made 4 posts on X mentioning the word Israel, which is strange given how tied they are to the United States, including one email that says,
buddy,
I don't care.
Listen to me. No, Ian, listen, man. I don't care if you want to come in here and talk about Israel stuff. I don't. I'm really not going to sit here and argue with you about it.
You care about Israel?
Oh my God, dude, no, I don't at all. That's the amazing. This is why it's obnoxious when you come in here and do this stuff, dude. You can do this in other places, but I don't play the game here, buddy. I'm not in any way connected to anything to do with Israel, so you can say whatever the fuck you want. But I don't have time for people who come in here and do this and come in here and constantly bring up the same topic, constantly, because there is other things happening. Okay, there's other instances where there's nothing to do with it. Not everything is Israel. Okay, my God, it's not all Israel. Not the entire world isn't run by Israel. The New Jersey of the Middle East means less to me than you do. Okay, that's the amazing thing about this to me. I don't like arguing with people who only want to bring up one point and you want to act as if it has anything to do with me or has anything to do with anything else. It's not all just one thing. Our own government is corrupt. Okay, and a lot of people don't like hearing that the real problems in our country don't come from other places. It actually comes from us. It is our country. We are the ones that are supposed to manage it and supposed to maintain it. And if we allowed another country to manage to take over a large percentage of our country and have some sort of significant sway, that is still our fault. It's still our fault. At the end of it, it is all the American people, and it is our own responsibility to maintain this country. It is not someone else's responsibility to maintain this country. It is not some other country's responsibility to maintain our powers over top of other people. It is our responsibility. So I don't like when people come in and specifically want to throw one specific group. No one ever mentions China, by the way. China is one of the most significant players in the entire world. For some reason, no one ever talks about China, even though they're worth, trillions of dollars, and they've infiltrated half of our government. But no one wants to talk about that. Everyone always wants to talk about one group as if they're the only people that are trying to do this sort of stuff. It's not just one people. There is millions of other things that are happening across the country, and more important than any of that is the only way that we'll be able to fix it is through our own country being of doing it. It's our own people. It is our own responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's my responsibility to take care of our country. And if you think that there's somebody that has managed to maintain and overrule anything that happens in the United States, well, that's our own damn fault because we didn't pay enough attention. Okay, I need to move on to some other people here. Let's see here. Vince, you've had your hand up for a long time. Go ahead.
I have an update for you, Walter.
Oh, yeah. Actually, let's hear. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, so the person detained was detained in Rio Rico, Arizona, a small town near the U.S. border with Mexico. That's just where he was detained. There's no press conferences scheduled for tonight. So that's that's the latest.
Okay, so it looks like there's not really a huge update that. Okay, so let's go over to Vince real quick. Go ahead, Vince.
Well, Walter, I'm just going to head out. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity and just to remind everybody that it's Netanyahu who just landed in the United States to speak again with Donald Trump. But,
yeah, I saw that earlier. Anyway, all right, go ahead, Vince.
All right. Oh my God, this is a lot to process. Nancy Guthrie, I'm hoping for the best, but I think we need to be realistic that she ain't gonna be found alive. All right, that's first. Secondly, whoever that was it's the Jews. It's the Jews. It's the Jews. You know what? It's not. It's us. It's the Americans. Do you know why we ended up fighting the Vietnam War? Because during World War II, we went to Ho Chi Minh and said, hey, you help us fight the Japanese and we'll give you freedom. We'll get the French out of Vietnam. And Ho Chi Minh went, yeah. And then when World War II ended, we went, yep, it's the French. Yeah, we're gonna just deal with them.
Well, if you really want to go look into that, you should read. There's a great book by I forget his name. It's called The China Matrix. It's actually sitting over here on my shoulder, my shelf here.
Yes.
You should read The China Matrix because you should read all about essentially one of our favorite world diplomats. What's his name? Why can't I'm blanking on his name now?
Arthur.
No, not MacArthur. Everybody.
That was a joke.
No, I can't think of the guy's name right now. I'm blanking on it. But essentially, it's Kissinger. Sorry, Henry Kissinger. If you want to go read about how our involvement in the rest of the world really developed, go read a lot about Kissinger because he's the one that really came up with almost all of it. Kissinger is the real architect of a lot of this stuff, and he was doing that up until the day he died at 100-something years old. Okay, Jack Tron, go ahead.
Thanks. Since even though Ian left, there was something I would just like to add here. So I have an email here from Epstein that says, "I do not like Israel at all," in all caps. So this idea that it's all about Israel is just absurd. I've listened to that guy on Spaces. Everything he says is about the Jews, the Jews, Jews. Like he thinks that the Jews killed Thomas Massey's wife.
Yeah,
Okay?
listen, I don't have time for it. I don't mind arguing with people about whatever, but the problem I have with it is trying to somehow insinuate that I have something to do with anything is just ridiculous to me. I'm a Catholic that lives in Ohio that has zero connection to any of it. It's just hysterical to me. Okay, let's hear. Go ahead, Christian.
Look, bottom line is this country has been hijacked within and abroad, and at the end of the day, it's just, are you America first or these foreign countries first? That's what it comes down to. Bottom line,
Bro, everybody here is America first.
Yeah.
Just an FYI.
Yeah, good. I know. But the thing is, look, we have no business sending tax dollars to any other country.
Oh, can we not? Bro, you don't know how to say it, man. We've heard it from Ian. You don't got to tell me, man.
Yeah.
I love Ian too. Like that's my boy. But like, I walked back in the house, and the first thing I heard was everybody talking about the same shit. Bro,
it's
fatiguing.
We don't usually like the reason this like the people come to this space is because we were like I'm part of what did we call it a couple months ago, Jordan? People who refuse to like anti only people who talk about Israel or people who anti the people who only want to talk about Israel. Like I have fatigue. Okay, I don't give a shit about the New Jersey of the Middle East people. I just don't care. It's so annoying. Like it's just the only thing some people want to talk about, and I just like, oh my goodness, man, come up with something else. It's just not worth me listening to. We've got big problems in this country, and it's not all because of the New Jersey of the Middle East. Okay, Angel, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
I think it's down already, but New Jersey of the Middle East is genius, and I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Godfrey, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to make a kind of a philosophical statement. You brought up the Finders cult, and that is absolutely a CIA trafficking operation. I just think that we elected Trump to heal this nation by getting rid of these organizations, getting rid of Epstein, the Finders cult, these CIA trafficking operations. And my philosophical statement, without trying to argue about Trump or Pam Bondi, is that we absolutely have to forget about Trump and Pam Bondi for a second. We have to get rid of this. We cannot be a civilized nation and have an intelligence agency operation that engages in the sex trafficking of children to ensnare politicians, whether it's Israel or the CIA or a bit of both, whether it's Epstein. There's allegations that Richard Branson runs his own island. But the fact of the matter is, something must be done about it. And I will connect it to something that we all feel on a personal level, which is the COVID vaccine. If there's no justice for the Epstein ring and these other sex trafficking rings that the CIA and Mossad is involved in, that Donald Trump promised to take down, however tangentially, then there's going to be no COVID justice. And that is the most disheartening thing to me, is that we all expected justice for the vaccine. We thought that Donald Trump was kind of besieged on all sides and he was forced to get the vaccine out, and he was listening to the charlatan Dr. Fauci. But in this administration, we're seeing Donald Trump having dinner with Bill Gates and making a literal drug deal with Albert Bourla, branding his own name to Trump RX. It's like, at what point, let's forget about politics for a second. Can't we agree that these things must be addressed before we heal as a nation.
Well, here's the one.
We cannot have these outliers here. That's my point.
Well, I mean, to me, listen to me. I agree with you entirely that if there is these rings still operating, if we have intelligence services that are still doing this, I don't care what the reward, whatever their risk to reward ratio is, they need to be shut down entirely. I mean, anybody that's involved in it should be immediately thrown in prison. If it, in my eyes, it's disgusting in the first place. But if you really want to talk about the biggest problem that I have, it's again the fact that our first term of Trump, the first term, Trump 1.0, okay, he gets into office and then immediately our own intelligence services tried to run a coup on the sitting president of the United States. Okay, I think that is something people seem to forget about. I think that's a bit more important, and I'll tell you why, okay? That needs to be addressed, and the people that are involved in it should be hanging from gibbets in the front of the White House lawn, okay? Why? Because if you don't deal with that problem, okay, no matter what you say, if you don't deal with that problem, if you don't deal with it and those people are not thrown in prison and something serious happens to them, they'll do it again. They'll do it again. And what's the purpose of us electing people if the intelligence services can then remove those people if they don't like them? That's the problem. That's the biggest thing that I think we need to solve. So if we want to go after the intelligence services and get after all of this stuff that they're doing with the child trafficking, whatever it is, what any of this horrible stuff, I agree with you. But what needs to happen first is all of the people who tried to overthrow the country and then were given $1 million settlements for it, let's put those people in prison. Okay, those people need to be in jail. Those people need to be in jail because if you don't, what is the purpose? What are we doing? If it doesn't matter what you do at the end of the day, because any of these people, if you can't manage to fix this problem, they're going to do it again. They will do it again, and they will absolutely activate the entire DOJ. They'll all line up right behind him, and they'll prosecute every single person who's even tangentially associated with the rest of these people. Anybody that's associated with Trump will go to prison. Anybody who speaks against the regime will go to prison. If you think that that's not the result of this, and that is the peak layer of the DOJ and the deep state that you're referring to, these intelligence services, they tried to overthrow a sitting president while he was the president. He was their president, and they still opened a counterintelligence operation against him. That needs to be addressed. Because if they are bold enough, Godfrey, and what your point is, you want to say justice for all of these other things that are happening. But if they are bold enough to remove a sitting, duly elected president, then they are bold enough that they will continue any of their operations. They don't care at all. Nothing happened to those people. Nothing happened to them at all. And if you don't deal with that, then all of these operations that you're so worried about will just continue right along because they assume that they are completely untouchable. And I think that is the peak layer of it that people seem to forget, especially when we start talking about the Epstein stuff.
Yeah, I guess what I would say is that you bring up some fair points, is that if Trump is unable to prosecute Epstein, he's not going to be able to prosecute the Russia collusion stuff and the attempts to overthrow him, because those are the same people. It's the same.
Well, that's what my
tapestry.
point. That's what my point is.
He's
that's
not
what my point
going,
is.
Yeah.
He has to, and that's what my point is, Godfrey. That needs to be addressed. And I keep saying this. I've said this 100 times on this show before, that if you really want to address the biggest problems we have as a country, you got to deal with this stuff, because those people, they feel as if they are completely and totally untouchable. And that is the problem. Okay, that's why you worry about why people aren't going, why nothing's happening. Well, if you can overthrow a president or nearly overthrow him, and you can run a coup in 2020, and you think you can do all those things, and then you get $1 million settlements, and you can still practice law, and you're still living a happy little go lucky lifestyle, yeah, you better believe that they believe they can do whatever the fuck they want. So it is a huge problem.
This right? Am I hearing this right? Let's put the sex crimes to a side for a second, and let's focus on the blue-red things, the two-party system. I mean, that's what you're really saying, Walter. Crazy. I'm glad that we all know what we mean.
That's not crazy, actually, because here's the situation. The situation is that you guys
forget the sex crimes.
The situation is you had 4 years under Trump 1 to address this issue with members of Congress when you controlled Congress. You had 4 years under the Biden administration in a controlling DOJ to release all of these documents and to bring all of these people to account and hold all of these people accountable. And that didn't happen. But what we do have here, Walter, and I completely agree with everything you just said, but we have also a bigger problem here, where we have members of Congress who happen to also be the same members of Congress that were on the impeachment hearings, that have a habit of going into skiffs and classified briefings, getting to see these things, then go into social media and basically nudging very clearly what they got to see in order to put pressure on the DOJ to release other documents that they can then use. But before they do that, they also suggest it's because they're protecting the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. That's a problem. We don't have mature adults in Congress right now. Certainly on the Democratic side of the aisle, and even some on the Republican side of the aisle. When you look at Thomas Massey, who's full of shit, who hadn't done anything, who could have done a bunch of stuff for 8 years, did nothing. Okay, all of these people, he why is he not calling for immunity for these victims who may have partaked in some of the crimes after they turned 18, because that's the way Epstein worked. You know what I mean? Like these are the kinds of things that aren't happening. They're giving lip service on X to drive content, to drive interviews, to make it like they're doing something. And the truth is, they're worthless.
Well, I mean, again, my point is at the end of this is that Godfrey's point is the same as mine, really, is that all of these people are the same people. They're all the same people. But the question is, how exactly do you go after them? How do you get them prosecuted? I don't know. I'll say right now that these new files that have come out give us a new window into the entire world of how the intelligence operation operates in this country. A brand new window that we did not have before, it's like pulling teeth getting them to release this stuff. It has been like this every single step of the way. I mean, to be honest with you, I think if you really go back and look at Pam Bondi, like I've said, I think she has been terrible in her job so far. But at the same time, if maybe she's just not bright enough to realize that they were playing her from the beginning, and now she's been completely side railed. But that's still her fault. I mean, that's still her fault. It doesn't matter at the end of it. If she was not smart enough to see that these people were lying to her at the very beginning of the administration, they made her look like an idiot, because they definitely made her look like an idiot. They definitely made her look like an idiot when she put the binder stuff out there. I mean, that just looked dumb, especially with the 3 million files that have been released now that are the most damning files that we've ever seen. At this point, it's pretty clear that the DOJ and the intelligence services really, really, really are desperate to make sure this stuff does not come out. That is what they are desperate for. So they are trying anything that they possibly can to keep that from happening. But it's still coming out anyway. So it's slowly moving through the works. I mean, it's been years of the Epstein stuff. And we have more stuff in today than we've ever had before. Prosecutions, that's going to be a whole nother level to it if you manage to get through. My point is, and my point is what I was talking about before, Godfrey, is that if you can't prosecute the people that you know what they did, okay, the people that we know, there's not questions. We have their names. We have their emails. We know exactly what they did. Exactly what they did. The Crossfire Hurricane documents are very detailed. You opened a counterintelligence operation against a sitting president. Your sitting president. While Trump was still the president, they opened a counterintelligence operation. Bill Priestap, Jim Baker, Peter Strzok, all of those people. We know what they did. We know how they did it. We have every single piece of information behind how that happened, and they're still not arrested. That's the problem. If you can't do that, how are you ever going to get them to prosecute on things you may or may not be able to prove just based on emails? That's the problem. So you have to be able to get at least one layer of this to be able to wipe out some of these people at the very top. That's what my argument is the whole time. If you can't arrest the people that tried to overthrow the country, and very clearly tried to do so, then what else are you going to be able to do? Okay, Daniel, you've been trying to get in here for a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I had something else I was going to say, but actually I would like to mention, I think it was Godfrey brought up, you want to address the red-blue thing. Actually, we do have to address that first and foremost, because if we don't address the red-blue thing, which that's all the left does, that's all they do is seek power and address the red-blue thing. If we don't do that first, then we will never find justice for all the crimes. I mean, the problem is we have a lot of people in our own party, like Massey, and like a lot of the GOP, that are kind of obstructionists to what the Trump administration is trying to get done. And if we can't vote in the primaries, which we do very poorly, and if we don't vote in the midterms, which we have done very poorly, then nothing will ever get done.
Well, I mean, this is the same thing that I tell everybody. The biggest problem we have is Congress. It's really Congress,
Right,
guys. It's
right.
it's really Congress is the biggest problem we have. And until we really address the people that we are in Congress, which is, again, it goes back to what I've said earlier, is that it's at the end of the day, it is all up to us for us to be able to fix our country. And it is not going to be one day where we get some magical thing that releases, where we actually fix everything overnight and a bunch of people go to prison. That's never happening. Okay, that's not happening. The only way we're going to fix this country, the only way we'll ever be able to do it is going to be the long and hard way, where we go through and we actually go through and prosecute people, and we actually manage to go through and put new people into power so we can fix the country. That is the only way that anything will ever get done. Guys, I am completely out of time, and I can't stay on later this evening. I have to be up early. I'm flying to Florida in the morning. So, guys, unfortunately, I'm going to have to end here for the evening. I appreciate everyone who came to the show tonight. I'd like all of you guys. Make sure you guys follow all my speakers. Everyone did a really good. This is a very interesting show this evening. I appreciate everyone who came to the show tonight. This is the Political Theater, guys. I'm Walter Kurt. I appreciate everyone who came to the show tonight. We will see you guys tomorrow night. I will be on from Florida. Probably just going to be a space. It's not going to be a live show tomorrow, guys. So I will put the audio up on the Substack afterwards. I appreciate everyone who came here. Make sure you guys follow all my speakers up here on the stage. Make sure you guys subscribe to the people that you can subscribe to up here on the stage. And I will see you guys next time on the Political Theater. Thanks, guys.
Some folks are born with a liberty spark. Their hearts beat red, white, and blue. When the anchors sneer and the cameras bark, they turn the lens right back at you. Truth bound, ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not the party line sons, no, it ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so some folks inherit silk-lined halls, spend our sweat while preaching share. But when the tax man wraps his knuckles raw, their mansions suddenly look bare, impaired. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not their banker-raised hairs, no. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so yeah, some paint stars on press room lies and send the common men to toil. Ask them, how much truth will you trade tonight? They mutter, more noise, more noise, more noise. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. Not the theater's pawns, friend. It ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're America's steadfast ones. No, we won't be spun.